And welcome to Hero Power. I am your host, Avanties, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Zerotio.
What is up, gang? How is everybody doing this week?
Oh, so far so good. I haven't played a whole lot of Hearthstone this week because this was the week leading up to the Magic the Gathering World Championship 26.
Yeah. I've heard about that. I didn't tune into that. I did
Oh, it's been really good.
Valentine's stuff. I had my THL match and my Coin Can See Listener Series match,
Yeah.
and yeah.
So they're playing live in Honolulu, Hawaii, and they've had some great casters that you might have heard of. One, Brian Kibler of Brian Kibler Gaming was there.
Yeah, I heard about
And
that.
another guy named That's Admirable was casting
Yep.
there, and Day 9. It was a fantastic ensemble
So
cast.
I heard the casting list, and I was like, "Wow, Brian Kibler. Oh, that's Admiral. It's awesome to see him get in." I was like, "Day 9. Now, has Day 9 been big into the Magic the Gathering casting?"
Day 9 is a big member of the Magic the Gathering scene. Not long ago, he had his own show called God, what was the name of it? He had his own Magic show, Magic the Gathering show on on Felicia Day's YouTube channel.
Gotcha.
It's called
Gotcha.
Spell Slingers. It was called Spell Slingers, and what he would do is he would bring on celebrities to play him in Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
And it's a fun little show. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. But
Cool.
yeah, so I've been pretty much wrapped up in that. It's been airing at an odd time Eastern because they are playing in Hawaii, so it starts mid-afternoon here. And I've usually been watching it on VOD instead of watching it live because I had a lot going on. But it's been enjoyable. So I've been doing a lot of that this week. Not a whole lot of Hearthstone.
Now this event, for those that don't follow Magic, was it a paper copy Magic tournament, or was it NTGA?
So the answer is yes.
Oh.
So the format, for those of you who may know a little bit about Magic, the format worked like this. They had the 16 top players from around the world over last year competing for the World Championship. On day one, all the players sat around a table, were given 3 packs, and they drafted. They did a round table draft in 8-player pods.
Okay.
And they drafted a deck with paper cards. Then they built a deck with those cards, and that deck was then transferred into MTGA by admins, and the tournament was then played out on MTGA using the decks they paper drafted.
So they could play the digital version a little easier for casters and spectators. Okay.
Correct.
That might be the way Magic the Gathering goes.
It was really
in esports.
It was really entertaining to watch because it had huge potential on the rest of the tournament. Because day one, the players that went 2-0 in the draft were seeded 1, 2, 3, and 4 going into the standard portion, which started on day 2. And the players who went 0-2 were eliminated before even making it to the standard portion. I mean, it was really, really good to watch some of these players who are considered the best in the world kind of go and do their thing.
I'm gonna have to go out and check those VODs, but we're not a Magic the Gathering
we are
podcast.
not.
But it's a little interesting.
That was a long way around of saying I've not played a whole lot of Hearthstone this week.
I played a bit of Hearthstone. I won my THL match, and I won my Coin Can See Listener Series match. So I've done pretty good this week on the competitive side. I haven't played much ladder. I've done some other things. I got a new mount, as you see. I got a little higher vantage point for my camera. I got a new mount that's going to help my neck so I can see my monitors while sitting down in my chair better. And of course, I celebrated Valentine's Day with my wife. So it's been kind of a very mixed weekend, and it's been a good weekend.
Did you take your wife out to dinner for Valentine's?
I sure did. Yeah, well, we went to lunch the next day on Saturday, so we weren't fighting through all the crowds.
Nice. My wife and I did the most romantic thing a married couple can do on Valentine's Day. Our taxes. It was great.
Well, see, I already did my taxes, so
but
I got my taxes in a while ago.
But
so.
then I did take her out to dinner, told her we'd go anywhere she wanted to go, her choice. We enjoyed all-you-can-eat pancakes at the IHOP.
Nice, nice, nice.
So, all right. Well, we don't have a whole lot of news to talk about this week, as you can probably guess. But we are going to dive into what little bit we have, and then we've got a pretty fun Dragon Hunter deck to check out from the one and only Mattatarms. Is that correct?
Yes, it's actually a little better than fun. It's a very effective deck. But we'll talk more about that in the second half of the show. But I have had good results with it.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing that. So, as we mentioned last week, Galakronds Awakening Chapter 4 is now live. This is the last chapter of the Galakronds Awakening solo content. So, those of you who may have tuned in to the pre-show would have seen me finishing up the evil side of Chapter 4. But, Zerotio, what is your takeaway? Did you enjoy Chapter 4?
Yes, I did. The story itself was very enjoyable. I think they did a very good job with the story. The difficulty in normal was extremely easy. I think a lot of that's because it gates cards, and they don't really want to make it something that's going to take, days for people to complete each chapter, because some people just want to beat normal, get the cards, and jump right into standard ladder with those cards. So I really can give them a pass on the difficulty for normal. However, the difficulty for heroic, it had me wanting more. I mean, there were a couple fights that took me a lot of effort to get through. And it might just be my style, was not good for them. The evil side final boss was for Chapter 4 took me about 30 attempts, but all the rest took me one or two, except the final boss on the Explorer side, which took me like 4 attempts. So to me, it was extremely easy to do the heroic, and it kind of deflates it for me. So story-based, I really, really liked it. I think they did a really good job. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but they have some really nice curveballs thrown at you at the story. But difficulty-wise, I hope they kind of ramp up the heroic, because the heroic should be difficult. And maybe it's just because you build your own deck, but for the most part, the fights were the same. Some of the bosses had 60 health instead of 30, but that's about it. But the cards that came out this week, what did you think of the cards that we got this week? And I'll go through them real quick. We got Frenzy Fellwing, Boom Squad, Chaos Gazer, Grand Lackey Eric, Shotbot, Escape Mana Saber, Steel Beetle, and the Amazing Reno. We've talked about these cards a little bit more in the past. Has any of these cards stood out to you as kind of impacting the meta at all?
Well, I really think we're going to see the Amazing Reno get slotted into Highlander Mage, and I think that card will see quite a bit of play. It's just, I think it's just too much fun. As far as the others, I've seen people kind of fiddling with Shotbot a little bit. Haven't really seen anything solid yet. And as much as I would love to say that Grand Lackey or Urka is going to make a big splash, I just don't know that there's a place for that card yet.
So, my coworker at my job, Slow Madman, he has made a Grand Lackey Eric Lackey Zoo Warlock, and it uses Emperor Takan, and kind of acts a lot like the old Quest Rogue, where you're just pumping out a bunch of 4/4s that cost 1 mana. And he has said he's found a little bit of success with the deck. I haven't gotten the list from him yet. I wanted to give him a week to flesh it out. But he's kind of found the sauce with it. He's climbed up a few ranks with it. And then, of course, Frenzy Fellwing, which is the 4 mana 3/3 that costs 1 less free damage dealt to your opponent this turn. It's going to be in the deck that we're going to be playing this afternoon on the show. And it's kind of hitting in the meta for those aggressive decks, because obviously you're wanting to do damage. So it's basically free for doing what you want to do anyways. And again, I've seen Shot Pot, and I've seen Amazing Reno played a bit, but so far not to a lot of success. A lot of popular streamers have been playing him, and he's really good when he comes out. But then they're like, okay, setting up lethal, and then the Amazing Reno casts a heal spell on his opponent, and all of a sudden you don't have lethal anymore. It's like, oh no. So Reno can really ruin your day. But other times he can give you lethal when you didn't expect it. So it's definitely like a casino mage style. I want to try him in Wild with that casino mage build. Maybe he'll be more effective there, since you're already doing that with the rest of your cards.
There you go. Okay. Well, if you do, let me know, because I may want to try that deck. So, I guess my overall impression so far has been, as far as storytelling goes, I think this has been the best adventure they have released since the game launched. I'm really high on how good this was, as from a storytelling perspective and a gameplay perspective. I just really, really enjoyed it, and I really hope they can carry this on into the new year.
I do, and now it's kind of come out that they're not doing the full linear storyline like they did this year. I think it was Dave Kosak kind of said that that's something they want to do in the future, but they don't have immediate plans to continue that. So that's kind of sad to hear that. But hopefully this kind of story-driven solo content can continue on. I will say, though, that I like the impact of the cards. Of the 35 cards, probably close to 10 to 12 of them are in the meta right now. And that's about a third of the cards. So for your money, having a third of those cards, playable in a majority of decks is good. Because if in a set of 135 cards, a lot of times you're lucky to get, a quarter of the cards being extremely impactful and playable in the meta. So to me, that's good telling for the balance that they're doing within the solo content.
Yeah, I totally agree there. All right, is there anything else you want to mention about Galakronds Awakening before we move on and leave it behind?
Just that it's fun, and it brought me back to enjoying the fun of the game instead of just worrying about how impactful and how good the cards are. Okay. With sets, it's usually about how good the cards are and not so much whether the cards are fun or not. And it kind of brought me back to that joy that I had back with, Curse of Naxxramas in Blackrock Mountain, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Okay,
awesome. All right, so our next bit of news is not really concrete. We can't verify at this time. So be aware that this next thing we're going to talk about is a rumor that has been milling around. And that rumor is of a summit that could be happening at Blizzard headquarters in Irvine. And Zerotio, why don't you tell us a little bit about what has been going around the mill?
So again, without giving out too many sources, because there are NDAs involved, and some people kind of not necessarily giving away things they're doing, but just because of certain other people paying attention to their Twitter feeds and kind of watching the normal flow of what their workload is, that their normal schedules are off normally for some reason, quote unquote. It was either this week or it's next week. I'm not sure which. There is some form of Blizzard Summit going on. It is believed that they might be talking about the year of blank. So that means probably within the next 2 weeks, we're probably going to see Blizzard come out with the news of what the next year of theme is, as well as it might be some collaboration with other content creators, which would be really nice if they did that. Maybe they'll give some further details of sets that we're going to see in 2020. It would be nice to have a year of blank. Oh, and by the way, our next set theme is X. Remember, this is about the time that we get the little image that has like teaser placeholders for the 3 sets, like we did last year and the year before. So that's the kind of thing we might see coming out. So if this summit is indeed happening, and they are talking about things that are going to be coming out in 2020, what would you want to hear about? I mean, obviously, the year of, and
right,
maybe some teasers for the first set. But is there anything else you'd like to hear them talk about?
Yes. As an innkeeper, I'm still wanting to know what the future of the Fireside Gatherings program is. Now, we have had a couple of town halls with the guy that is now kind of over the Fireside Gatherings program, and those have been somewhat productive meetings. We've talked to him about what has worked in the past, what we would like to see in the future, and he has taken notes and gathered information to take back, and we would love to see, we were told we were going to get information about it in 2019. Well, they brought in somebody to replace the group that was let go, and then that person left, and now we have another new person. So it's really a revolving door currently at Blizzard with the Fireside Gatherings group, but we think we have somebody in the position now that can maybe get the ball rolling again the way it was in 2016, 2017, get us back on track. And we're hoping for some good things, but I would love to hear some of that from Blizzard about what's to come in 2020.
Now, as an innkeeper, and I don't know how much you can talk about this with the innkeeper, town hall meetings, but as an innkeeper, they just recently had a town hall meeting. Is that correct? This past week?
Yes, we had one February the 11th. It was our second. We had one in January, and then this one in February.
And I believe some of the questions was getting information from the innkeepers so that they can go and get information about that, right?
Yes.
For this last one?
Yes, that was kind of it.
That would make sense. I mean, that would kind of line up with a timeline that there's a summit going on this next week, if they're asking for stuff this past week. So
yeah, well,
maybe
that's a possibility that they may be gathering information for other things.
Again, speculation.
We again 100% speculation. We have had innkeeper summits in the past. We had innkeeper summits in 2016, 2017, and 2018. and those always yielded really good information. Out of those summits, you got Nimsy, you got some of the other fun things that have happened at Fireside Gatherings, and so we've talked to them about the possibility of renewing those summits. That would be huge. I think a huge step forward for the Fireside Gatherings program. But as it stands now, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens.
I'd like to hear more about esports because I have really lost faith in esports. I know they've recently kind of mentioned partnerships with organizations like DreamHack, and I'd like to hear more about those relationships and maybe any other relationships. Again, more speculation, but I know Monkey Bubble has been doing their own kind of side tournaments, and it would be great if Blizzard partnered with somebody like that so that we can have some more events for the up and coming kind of somebody like me, where I could just go to a DreamHack or go to a non-Blizzard event and possibly qualify for entry into Blizzard events.
Okay. So for those of us on this podcast or listening at home that have no friggin' clue what Monkey Bubble is, why don't you fill us in?
So Monkey Bubble is an organization that's been doing a kind of like its own little master's program, and they've had a lot of players. They're doing a whole EU brawl right now where teams throughout Europe are competing, and they're going to be having their own little masters kind of tournament where they invite players to join and then eventually get into kind of what they would consider grandmaster level competitive play within their collective organization. It's got lots of sponsorships from GameStop and a few other sponsors. One of the community members, Wicked Good, is one of the casters, and Necra, I believe, also is two of the casters. And so far, they've been doing a lot of stuff. It's Monkey Bubble on Twitch, twitch.tv/Monkey Bubble. And I think it's Monkey Bubble Official. No, I think it's just Monkey Bubble. But so far, I've been really impressed by the level of production and casting that they've done for these events. And it would be great. I know they've gotten approval from Play Hearthstone to do these events. I'd love to see them get a little more official backing from them. But we'll just have to see. It's a good organization. I'm trying to find my way to see if there's a way I can compete in there or help out with casting or anything.
That's cool.
My schedule's opened up a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, that pretty much covers the rumor side of things. This week's Tavern Brawl is the Brawl of Gaudiness.
Yeah.
Gaudy? You? Never. You look marvelous in that. Choose a class to get a random deck. All cards cost half, but you can only play 2 per turn. It's like the Cloak of Gaudiness that you get in the solo adventures that, gives you that exact ability. Cards cost half, but you can only play 2. So
I like this brawl, and not so much just because the brawl was fun, and it was a one and done for me, but a lot of times when there's lulls in Hearthstone content and they're getting ready for more information to come out, like the year of announcements and things like that, you tend to get these, Crossroads, Battle at the Crossroads, your random deck Tavern Brawls, and they're just the same thing. Random deck, or random deck that gives you randomness amongst your randomness. And this is a little different where it's random, but everything costs half and you can only play 2 per turn. So it's a different rule. And I like this a lot better just recycling the Crossroads while it's very similar to it. Now, one thing you have to note, I had my opponent played a coin, and then hovered over a card forever until he finally just had to ping my face because he was a mage because he didn't realize only played 2 cards a turn.
Right.
So he was forced to use his hero power instead because he goofed. But yeah, it was fun. I do like seeing this creativity amongst those type of tavern brawls when they don't have a lot of new content to come out with.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, there's always going to be a lull because that team's doing other things or getting ready for special events, and that's forgivable. But give us a little more creativity, and here I think they did that.
Awesome. All right. Well, that does it for the news and discussion this week. That brings us to this week's deck list. As we said at the top of the show, this week's deck was brought to us by our good friend Mattatarms, and it is a Dragon Hunter. And as Zerotio alluded to earlier in the show, it does involve some of the new cards from Galakronds Awakening. So I will run down the deck list, and then I will let Zerotio kind of talk about how the deck works since he's played it a little bit. So the deck has 2 Blazing Battle Mage, 2 Dwarven Sharpshooters, 2 Tracking, 2 Corrosive Breath, 2 Fairy Dragon, 1 Freezing Trap, 2 Phase Stalkers, 1 Snake Trap, 2 Primordial Explorer, 2 Scalewing, 2 Stormhammer, 1 Dragonbane, 2 Evasive Feywing, 2 Frenzied Fellwing, 1 Life Drinker, 1 Big Ol' Whelp, 1 Leroy Jenkins, and 2 Rotnest Drakes. So tell us about it, Zerotio.
So this deck is a tempo deck that plays very aggressive. You'll do a lot of just going to face instead of trading so much because in the meta right now is a lot of spell-based removal. So if you play a Fairy Dragon and your opponent plays, say, a 2/2 to follow up, it's best for you to go to face because they have to run that minion into your 2/2 and to your 3/2 because they can't use a spell to clear it. Also, there's a lot of just cheating things out. The frenzied Fellwing is one. You can in one turn. A big play I used a lot was I Blazing Battle Mage on turn 1. Turn 2, I go to face and use my hero power, and I can play those Frenzied Fellwings for free. And that's an amazing tempo swing on turn 2. Also, the Stormhammers, just the fact that you're swinging away and not taking any durability. Also, I think it was the Corsair. It's the pirate that takes the durability off your opponent's weapon. It does not work on Stormhammer if you have a dragon in play. Because I had somebody playing
that's
kind
huge.
They played the pirate that got them a random pirate, and they got that.
Yeah.
And my Stormhammer was a 3/1, and they greeted me and played it, and then like hovered over my weapon for a while, and then oopsed because they didn't realize I had a dragon in play.
Yeah.
But then they turned around and cleared my dragon with another. With a spell, and it's like, oh, you could have cleared the dragon first and then gotten rid of my weapon.
Right.
So, because it's still new cards, people were really trying to figure out how to play around them. And then, of course, this has Leroy Jenkins.
Of course.
So on turn 7, if you have Leroy in your hand, that's 8 damage out of hand. So if you think you can get your opponent to 8 by then, just go for it.
Right.
And the Rotnest Drake is also a really, really good removal late game. And kind of stops the Embiggen Druids because they, if you can set them up where the only thing that's going to stop you is them putting out that big taunt, you can Rotnest Drake and then clear the Reborn minion with something small, and then all of a sudden you can go face with the rest of your damage. So it's just a really good tempo deck that has a lot of punch. You can win games on turn 6 or 7 pretty easily.
That's awesome. So, all right. You got anything else you want to talk about this week before we move into the play portion of the show?
No, the biggest thing I want to remind people is this is where Hearthstone gets quiet. So obviously, if you need to take a break from the game a little bit and enjoy family life, things like that. Know you're going to have content coming out here pretty soon, and we'll make sure to disseminate that to you guys once we start hearing some more information about what we're going to be getting most likely in April. We have Grandmasters also coming up soon. There's nothing public on it left yet, so we didn't want to report on it exactly, but I think sometime in March-ish we'll start seeing stuff about Grandmasters, and we'll let you know about that. It'll start picking up here once the spring starts coming, and it's coming faster than you'd expect, even though we have an extra day in February.
That's right. All right, guys, that's going to do it. If you're joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned as we are going to move to the live play portion of our show and check out this Dragon Hunter deck. If you are listening via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. And remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. You can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it, you can do so by joining our Patreon over at patreon.com/HeroPower. And we'll see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power.
Alrighty, sir.
Yeah, so I mentioned I played this a bit. I haven't played it a lot. I didn't get as many games as I would have wanted to before show. But I am currently 9-3 with this deck. That's a 75% win rate. Again, small sample size, but it packs a punch. I'm really excited to play. I actually climbed up into rank 3 from rank 4 just before the show went. So
awesome. So I'm ready to fight the Spectate boss as soon as you are ready to find a worthy opponent.
All right, spinning the wheel now. Let me make sure I got my Spectate on.
Yeah, that's right. You gotta make sure it's on when you're, because you can't have it on when you're playing in league matches.
That's right. THL has a rule that you can't have your Spectate on so you can't coerce with somebody else.
Right. All right.
All right.
So looks like we've got a warrior.
This is a thing. I mean, this is what we want. 1, 2, 3. Battle Mage into Fairy Dragon into Stormhammer. We could possibly draw a Corrosive Breath. We could draw a Scale Rider. I'm keeping this whole hand. What do you think?
I like it. I say let's go with it and see if maybe we can't draw into one of those Frenzied Fellwings.
Yeah, since we don't have the coin, we'll go first. He's going to have to react to our Battle Mage.
Yeah.
Tracking is also, good. I'd love to get a Frenzy Fellwing here. Okay, drawing the second Fairy Dragon is good because we can throw this out now and not have to worry about not having our dragon later, just in case.
Right.
So let's play the Fairy Dragon and just go face.
I like it.
I haven't faced a lot of Warrior. He does have a Chinese-style name, so I would not put them past being an Asian account that's working on another Legend Climb. So we could be facing a more control variant deck. So
do we just Stormhammer here and swing face?
Yeah, I mean, that's 3 free damage.
Yeah.
So, because with the dragon in play, it's not going to lose any durability.
All right. Coining on 3 to 4 to play.
Zephyrus? No.
Warpath twice.
Wow. I like this.
So
blown out of Warpath early?
Yeah.
Do
we just play the evasive and go face?
Since we haven't seen the Town Crier to pull out a rush minion, I think we can safely go evasive Feywing here.
Okay.
I don't want to just play Fairy Dragon because if he does have the Mummy, then he could just Mummy once and leave a 3/1 in play. With the evasive Feywing, he'd have to put both Mummies into the Feywing.
Right.
So yeah, let's go Feywing and swing face. Again, we got 11 damage into a warrior by turn 4. I mean,
Yeah.
this is...
There's the militia commander. Okay.
And this trades evenly, so that's good. Oh.
Play the frenzied go face. Let's see, how do we want to do this?
Well, we're going to want to play Fairy Dragon and Hero Power and go face. And then that'll give us enough damage to play the Frenzied Fellwing for free.
Okay, do we tracking in there too with our last mana?
I think we go ahead and tracking first, just to see if we get a better option.
Okay.
Because we know we have a Leroy in our hand. So what messes up our Leroy play? A taunt?
Yeah.
I think we won't have a dragon in our hand to Rot Nest Drake. I think we Life Drinker.
Okay. I don't hate that.
If I had another dragon in my hand, of course we could not play the Fairy Dragon.
That's what I was thinking. You could theoretically just play the Frenzied Fellwing at full cost.
We don't have to play it full. We still get it for free. I still like the Life Drinker here. So let's take Life Drinker.
Okay.
And then we're going to Fairy Dragon, Hero Power, Swing Face, and play the Fellwing.
Okay.
Now, again, the Mummy will clear this up, but he won't be able to armor up, and he won't have anything in play.
Right. And we've done 9 damage now with that weapon.
Yep. Now that's a pretty good tempo play. There we go. We'll just Life Drinker, Hero Power, go ahead and swing face, and get another free Fellwing.
Okay.
Setting up for lethal.
Okay.
And again, we're not worried about the durability now because
he's closer to death. Yeah.
We're likely setting up lethal here.
Right.
He needs a taunt. And can we get him through a taunt even? Maybe, depending how he does these trades. There's the Mummy.
Restless. Yeah.
And he can armor up, but it's not going to be enough.
It's not going to be enough.
Because we've got Leroy Hero Powers 8 just alone. So Hero Power Leroy. There we go.
GG.
And he was playing a more control heavy deck, and we were able to just blow through him.
Yeah.
Again, it kind of looks like a tempo deck just from looking at the list, but it's extremely aggressive.
Okay.
Which is how I like my aggro. I like my aggro to have other plans.
Right. Right.
You have the Rot Nest Drakes, you have removal, while still being aggressive.
Yeah.
And that hammer, that Storm Hammer is sick.
So much value.
Yep.
All right, let's see what we get here.
So Warlock.
So
probably Zoo.
Probably Zoo to rush.
I think we keep the Sharpshooter and the Face Stalker.
Throw back the tracking.
Because since we don't have the coin, we'll play Sharpshooter on 1.
Yeah.
And then if he plays any high value, low cost minion, we can just pick it off with our Hero Power.
Right. Like a Flame Imp or something.
Yeah. I mean, he could coin out Fairy Dragon, and that would be a little bit of a problem. Okay, this looks Lackey based. I wonder if this is that Lackey Eric deck. All right.
Do we just still stick to the Phase Stalker plan here, or do we throw down the Fairy Dragon?
Well, we do have the big old whelp to play with the Rot Nest. So I feel better being able to do the Face Stalker with the Hero Power together. So I think we just Fairy Dragon this turn.
Okay.
And see, a lot of people are like, why do you have the Sharpshooter? You're usually going to use your Hero Power just to go face. Well, what it does is it makes it so he can't play something small. Well, this is interesting. He's going to want to kill that off.
Right.
But I think we Skill Rider face and just go face.
And just apply pressure.
Yeah, because he's going to kill that off to not buff anything.
Right.
Or to create more lackeys, and that's fine.
Okay.
Now, there's only 2 secrets in this deck. 1 Freezing Trap and 1 Snake Trap. We want to probably get Snake Trap.
Uh-huh.
I would say. Like I said, unless his tempo is going to... Oh, this is fine. He's just going to trade into 3-2.
Yeah. Get his 1/1s.
I'm fine with that.
Destroy it to add lackeys to his hand. Yep.
So I think we hero power down the 2/2.
I agree.
So let's face Stalker first.
Okay.
Hero power down the 2/2. And let's see what secret we get first. We got Snake Trap.
Good.
So I'm going to go face with the Scale Rider.
Pick off one of the minions with your
and then
sharpshooter.
I'm going to pick off one with the sharpshooter. And then what he's likely going to do is run the 2 scarabs into the sharpshooter. But that's going to give us 3/3 worth of stats for 1/2.
Yeah.
So it's actually, we're going to get more benefit for him trading. And the reason I traded into one of the 1/1s is so he can't run 3 1/1s into the 3/3 or the 2/3.
Oh, he's going after the Phase Stalker. Okay.
It's fine. It's still good. It got its value, really. You got at least 1 secret out of it. Then he probably just picks off one of these snakes.
Yeah.
The other 1/1. That's fine. That means he's not going to kill off our sharpshooter.
Nope.
Or maybe.
Maybe.
No, he's going to go after the 3/3.
Okay.
He still hasn't attacked with one of the scarabs.
Okay. So the sharpshooter lives.
So we could Corrosive Breath down the 1/2. Hero Power down the 2/2. Corrosive Breath the 1/3, I mean.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to do that.
Okay.
We're going to Hero Power the 1/2. The question is, do we want to clear these 2 minions? If he plays Takan, we could be punished.
Right.
Because Takan's what, 5 mana?
Honestly, I don't know.
He is.
Okay.
So I think we trade one of these in, and then we use the sharpshooter, and then get
Clear.
it. And we want to get our chip damage to face as much as we can.
Right.
Now, if he does play Takan here, we can just Rot Nest.
Magic Carpet.
Do Magic Carpet.
To Abusive Sergeant. Okay.
And the Abusive Sergeant can turn around and rush as well. He taps instead of playing a lackey.
Yes.
That's interesting. I like just Rot Nest.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, you're not going to see a cleaner Magic Carpet kill here the rest of the game.
Yeah.
There's probably a cleaner line where we play the Evasive Fey Wing and then Hero Power. Oh, there we go. And see, now if you notice, we won last game playing very aggressive. We won this game playing very tempo. So when you're playing against a control deck, you want to be very aggressive and just pound that damage to face. But if you get matched up against another aggressive deck, you can then turn on the brakes, go tempo, and just eat up his resources.
Yeah.
And you have spells that kill a minion and do face damage. You have minions that destroy a minion and also develop a minion on the board. There's so much tempo in this deck that it goes both directions. The only time I found problems if I'm playing another mid-range tempo deck, and then I kind of have to change my gears a lot. And at that point, it's whoever gets the best draws. Really.
Right. Well, that was awesome. 2-0, just like that. So,
yeah, and very definitive. I mean, wins.
yes.
And I'm 11-3 with this deck right now. That's a 79% win rate with a albeit small sample size, but it's very strong in the meta right now. The things that are popular in the meta, it just beats.
That's awesome. So, all right, guys, if you want to check it out, the deck list will be in our show notes at heropowerhs.com first thing tomorrow morning. So make sure you go there and grab that deck code and check it out. So, all right, gang. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. If you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button below on YouTube or give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted when we go live. For more details about our patron-only Discord, you can find that over at patreon.com/heropower, and you too can be a member for as little as $1 a month. So, all right, gang, until next week, good gaming.
Bye, guys.